Avoid these common mistakes that could kill your sentences in Arabic. Number 1, make sure you start your nominal sentence with a definite noun. For example, in English you would say life is beautiful, but in Arabic you have to say al-hayatu jamila. The life is beautiful, literally speaking. Number 2, use a definite noun, again, to speak about things that are known to you, common, habitual, or usual. For example, I go to work. أذهب إلى العمل. العمل. Or أمارس الرياضة. الرياضة. I play sports. Always use a definite article, whereas in English you don't really need to. And as well when speaking about likes and dislikes. For example, أحب الشوكولاتة. I like the chocolate, literally, and not I like chocolate as in English. Ensure adjective-noun harmony. Remember always to start with the noun first and then the adjective, and not the other way around as in English. For example, the big house. البيت الكبير, and not the other way around. And remember that the adjective follows the noun always in terms of definiteness, gender, and number. For example, البيت الكبير, the big house. الطاولة الكبيرة, the big table. Or for example, البيتان الكبيران, البيوت الكبيرة. الفتى الطويل, الفتاة الطويلة. الفتيان الطوال. When it comes to verbs, make sure that you always double check your tenses. Am I speaking in the present or past? Often students can jump between both, and that's going to throw off your sentence. Also check verb-subject agreement at all times. And if you're not too sure about your conjugation, you can use an online tool, and nowadays there's plenty of sites that offer this service. Again, when speaking about verbs, make sure that you use the correct prepositions or particles that should be used with that verb. Just as in English you have phrasal verbs, the same goes in Arabic. For example, استمتعت ب, I enjoyed something. In English you don't really use a preposition, but in Arabic this verb needs a preposition be. For example, استمتعت بالسباحة, I enjoyed swimming. You can also use an online dictionary to double check which prepositions go with that verb. And that's very important, an Arabic dictionary. And I've got a specific video to help you navigate this important skill. For example, احتفلت برأس السنة, I celebrated the new year. You can use a dictionary to double check the prepositions that could be used with this verb, as shown in the screenshot here. Avoid literal translation and follow common patterns of speech in Arabic. A common mistake, for example, is using the present perfect when in Arabic we haven't got such a thing. We just have the past and the present. Even the imperative is derived literally from the present tense. So for example, I have eaten. In Arabic you simply say akaltu, I ate. So it's the same thing for I have eaten or I ate. For example, I've seen students translating I have eaten to عندي أكلت. You cannot use عند in that sense in Arabic. We literally just have two tenses, the past and the present, and even the imperative is derived from the present tense. So in that case you would use أكلت for I ate and أكلت for I have eaten. Definitely not عند, because عند is an adverbial for place and time. For example, عند الطبيب, at the doctor's. عند المغيب, at sunset. Or عندي, at mine, or in my possession, literally. But definitely you cannot use it for the present perfect. So that's one of the mistakes that I come across often. Again, avoid literal translation and try to learn vocabulary from context and stories and interaction with natives. For example, recently I've come across the term or the translation for a fun fair in Arabic, and that came as mut'a naziha, which honestly is very laughable, and it should be translated something as mahrajan tarfihi, for example. Or the phrase mixed nuts is translated as mukassarat mushkila, like that means nuts problems, and that's completely off as well, and it should be mukassarat mushakkala. So obviously over here just a change in the stress and the vowels completely flip the whole meaning. So it should be mukassarat mushakkala, implying having a diverse option or having many options or mixed options. Take your time to go back and check what you've written. Check your sentence structure and coherence. Make sure that you review what you've just written. Remember that quality wins over quantity always. And one final very important advice is to use a journal when learning a language. That's very basic and very important. Make sure that you document your learning. What have you learned today? What was new that you've learned? It could be a grammar rule, it could be vocabulary, it could be expressions of the day, it could be an idiom. Make sure that you always write down your mistakes or the feedback that you've received from a teacher or the native speaker that you interact with. That's very important. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in a loop and you'll continue to repeat the same mistakes. Having a reflective journal allows you to document your learning journey and to see how you're progressing over time. By documenting what you learn each day, you can easily see how far you've come and identify areas that need more practice. This not only boosts your motivation, but also allows you to set clear and achievable goals. Moreover, a journal serves as a valuable resource for revision. Another benefit is the opportunity to analyze your learning patterns by reflecting on what works well for you and what doesn't. You can adjust your own study methods to be more effective. This kind of self-awareness is key to becoming a more efficient and independent learner. If you're a busy individual, you could certainly collect notes digitally, like maybe screenshots or pictures, and keep them in a picture folder on your phone or on your electronic device. However, I strongly recommend that you have a written journal. Writing by hand engages multiple senses and motor skills, which helps reinforce the information in your brain. The process is known as encoding, where the brain converts the information into a memory trace. When you write, you involve neural circuits that connect the brain's motor regions with the cognitive areas responsible for making and processing information. This multi-sensory engagement enhances the encoding process, making it easier to transfer information from your short-term memory to long-term memory. Short-term memory has a limited capacity and can hold information for only a brief period, typically around 20 to 30 seconds. To move information into the long-term memory, it must be rehearsed and encoded effectively. Writing by hand aids this process by providing a physical and cognitive rehearsal of the information, which strengthens the memory trace. Additionally, the act of journaling encourages reflection and deeper processing of information. This reflection is critical for consolidating memories, which is the process where short-term memories are transformed into long-lasting ones. Over time, repeated review and writing can help reinforce these connections, making it easier to recall the information when needed. So in summary, make sure that you do write as much as you can and use a learning journal. Make sure that you have a proactive approach to learning and not a passive one. Thank you and all the best in your learning journey.